Deep darkness enveloped my home as I lay down to sleep that night. Strange sounds outside and rustlings in the darkness were unsettling, but I tried to dismiss them as products of my imagination, comforting myself with the thought that it was just my mind playing tricks on me. Closing my eyes on the bed, I found solace in the idea that the outside world was silent. Dreaming of a peaceful sleep, I suddenly heard a woman's scream echoing through my subconscious, piercing my very being. I woke up in fright, my heart pounding, the tranquility in my soul vanishing. The night was so dark that even the streetlights appeared pale. I scanned the room, attempting to discern whether it was just a part of a nightmare. However, just as I began to calm down, another piercing female scream resonated. Louder, it pierced my essence, sending shivers down my spine. Summoning the courage, I decided to get up and look out of the window. The curtains slowly parted, and I peered into the darkness beyond. There was nothing visible on the street, only an impenetrable mist and the dark silhouettes of trees. But the scream echoed again, more hauntingly and nearer. It penetrated my soul, and I felt that something eerie lurked within it. Without knowing why, I opened the window, and a cold wind carried the scent of decay and decayed flesh. The moon was barely visible through the clouds, its light dimly illuminating the street. And there, in this eerie semi-darkness, the girl stood below, not far from my house. Her hair hung loose like black waves, obscuring her face. She trembled as if drenched in rain, but the sky was clear. Her eyes glowed in the darkness like two fiery coals. She was silent, yet her presence felt mystical, filling me with fear. Suddenly, she screamed again, and I could feel the sounds of her scream penetrating my soul. I tried to comprehend what was happening, how she ended up here, and why her scream invoked an indescribable horror within me. Abruptly, she turned and looked directly at me. Her eyes sparkled in complete darkness, like two fiery torches. I felt that she saw me, despite the darkness and distance between us. Goosebumps covered my arms, and I sensed something ominous in that radiant gaze. Mindlessly, I closed the window, as if it could protect me from her. However, her screams continued, as if they penetrated through the walls of my house. I couldn't understand why I was a witness to this strange and frightening phenomenon, but I felt that it held a dark secret. Disturbed and frightened, I decided to call the police. The operator listened to my story with skepticism, but when I mentioned the fiery eyes and traces of water, she became intrigued. She promised to send officers to the scene. As I waited for the police to arrive, the girl's screams became louder and more terrifying. She seemed desperate, as if searching for something lost. I couldn't comprehend what connection I had to this nightmare, but I felt that it carried a mysterious dark. Finally, the sound of sirens pierced the night silence, and police officers stepped out of their cars. I met them and told them everything that had happened. They looked at me with confusion, but still decided to check the scene. As they went outside, the girl stopped screaming. I followed the police and saw that she had disappeared, as if she had never been there. There were no traces of the fiery water. I looked at the officers in surprise, but they nodded as if confirming that they saw and heard the same thing. We returned to my house, and the police asked me more questions. They mentioned that many residents in the area reported strange sounds and screams, but no one could find the source. My story seemed unusual to them, but they concluded that I might be experiencing some psychological disorder. Since then, the shadow of that girl haunts me in my nightmares. I can't understand who she is, why she appeared to me, and what her fiery eyes signify. My home has become a place of nightmares, and I'm not sure if I'll ever sleep peacefully again. Her screams continue to echo in my dreams, like the eternal whisper of the night, reminding me that some secrets are better left undiscovered.